so you have questions regarding protein, and I am really excited about this. Okay, so in the last couple openings, we've had the same question come up from new members. Heather, I've watched the videos on increasing protein. I've watched the videos on how to get in more protein, but I'm hearing conflicting information. Some other people are saying if I eat too much protein, I might not hit a certain state in my body. If I were to eat too much, what about this, that, and the other? Why is it that you're recommending we eat that amount of protein? So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, first off, below, I'm going to be linking to a lot of good research that I've been collecting over the last several weeks for you. Please do never take my word for anything. As always, I am not a doctor, nurse, medical professional, dietitian. I just listen to people I really trust and I relay the information to you. Totally your prerogative if you take it, if you use it, but just hear me on my rationale as to why. So in the whole weight loss, weight management, aging, and health perspective, the number one thing you have going for you is your muscle mass. As you age, everyone, male and female, will naturally lose muscle mass. You don't get much say in that. So there is a constant battle that we are going to undergo to retain muscle mass over the years to help us thrive and live a wonderful life. This is why I strength train 3 to 4 times a week and why I keep my protein goals in check. I don't want to just survive, I want to thrive. So the RDA recommended protein intake, there's 2 different numbers, let's discuss both. There is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, which most people get. I look at enough of my FitnessPal logs. Most people are in the survival group. You are getting somewhere between 50 and 70 grams per day. That is the minimum, that is the minimum required amount of protein. That is for survival, not thriving, not optimal health. The other way that the RDA breaks it down is 10 to 35% of your caloric intake. I am the 30 to 35% of the caloric intake. So first off, nothing that I really recommend is outside of even what is being recommended, but you're thinking about it maybe a little bit differently. So if you go to the thriving side of what they're suggesting, that's going to work out to almost 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight based on a healthy body weight. So for example, if my calorie intake is 2,100 or 2,200 calories per day, I am an active physical female, and I put in that I want 30 to 35% of my calories to come from protein. It actually works out even a little higher than what I would normally shoot for, which is almost 165 grams of protein. So I go by the top number, the 35%. I put it in with my calories and it gives me my grams, okay? That is more of the thriving. Now, why is it, Heather, we want to be on that top end side of what they're recommending? Well, as we age, or if we're not super active and healthy and got a lot of good muscle built, we want to first off work on retaining it if we're in a calorie deficit. So if you are currently dieting, which most people in Half Size Me are, you want to be eating an appropriate amount of protein because it's the one thing you have that will secure that future muscle mass. If I gave you a DEXA scan now and then I gave you one in 6 months and you realized, yeah, I lost a few pounds of body fat, but I also lost 7 pounds of muscle, you may not feel so happy about that when you see what it looks like on your body. Also, when you realize you lost all that metabolically active tissue. So we want to be thinking about long-term health. One of the key factors to people not only losing weight and maintaining weight is keeping as much muscle as possible. I want to go back to the Biggest Loser experience here. Those people crash dieted. They lost weight really rapidly. They also lost a lot of muscle, hence why their metabolisms were negatively impacted. Again, they can fix it over time, but why do that to yourself if you don't have to? So when I tell you 1 gram per pound of body weight, you'll always hear me say if you are obese or overweight, lean weight, meaning the weight that you want to get to. So let's just say right now you're 250 pounds and You know 250 grams of protein sounds crazy high. You could just simply put in your calories, do what I do, put 30 to 35% of your caloric intake coming from protein. It will give you the grams. But the other short method to this, let's just say for your height, your age, and all that, a good body weight for you might be 130 pounds or 140 pounds. You could simply go to 130 or 140 grams. That would be a good amount of protein for you to be consuming to preserve the muscle you have, while hopefully, if you're doing some kind of strength training, maybe even adding a little bit, because if you are losing weight, you still can do that. So when I make this recommendation, it's not because I just want you to down lots and lots of protein. It's because I realize the importance of muscle in the weight loss and weight management area. And two, I know that as long as you're aging, which we all are, let's be honest, as long as you're aging, you're naturally losing it. So anything we can do to fight back, I'm going to be helping you fight back for that. I would never recommend something that I thought was, there's some people who will tell you two grams per pound of body weight. I think that would be insanely high, but you could do it. People do it. But keep in mind, this has got to be something you're willing to keep up with. And I tell people, do not increase to that level. Like if you put in MyFitnessPal, 35% of your calories coming from protein, and you realize the number's 175 and you're only eating 70, go back and watch those other videos where I talk about starting where you are, gently increasing the protein over months and months, get used to it because it is a lifestyle. You have to get used to eating differently to get that amount of protein in regularly. Most U.S. diets, the way most U.S. People consume food is not with a protein-dense diet. They eat a carb and fat-dense diet. So this requires kind of a change in how you order, change in how you shop, change in how you cook and prepare your foods. So again, don't just take my word for it. I've got a lot of scientific articles listed below. You may want to click through, read all of those. Be well educated for yourself and really understand the importance of muscle when it comes to long-term health, weight management, and weight loss. If you understand all of that working together, it's all going to make perfect sense. But again, if it makes you feel better to know, the RDA actually does recommend 10 to 35% of your caloric intake coming from protein. I just opt to not be on survival side, more on thriving side. You have a wonderful day. I hope I answered your question.